agent just called me and he doesn't call
It's
you?
not about the way you make them look, it's about the way you make them feel. Anybody can put a pretty dress on a pretty girl. That doesn't take much, you know. How do you make them feel? How do you change the way they walk out of the house when they're going to a red carpet? How do you change the way they pose and that they emote that confidence on the carpet? That's what we're shooting for. The clothes are the easy part. It's everything else.
Law Roach, welcome to SHOWstudio's book club.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much.
No, thank you so much for joining us. I wanted to start by talking about you as an image architect for people that don't know, and this book is kind of an introduction to you and what you do. What does the term image architect mean, and why did you come up with this title for yourself?
Well, I think when I was entering the industry, it was around the surge of Instagram, and there were so many people that were multi-hyphenate, and it was like stylist, hairstylist, MUA, creative director, and all these things. And I wanted to have a way to differentiate myself. But doing that, I really kind of figured out that what I thought I was doing, or what I was doing, was so close to what an architect does for a building, a structure. I was just doing it for someone's image, right? And it was, you know, figuring out exactly who they were and surveying the land, if you will, and building an actual blueprint to who the client wanted to be, you know, who they are and what they wanted to be, and a blueprint that could actually be followed and help them become the best version of themselves.
I mean, I thought it was interesting because Jeremy Scott says in the introduction to this that they really think of you as transcending this term of stylist. And reading the book, it definitely went against my expectations of what a book on style perhaps you'd expect it to be. This isn't a book telling you to wear this colour with this colour. It's a book about the philosophy of what comes from style, and I suppose that comes back to that idea of building these images. You talk a lot about working with your clients and that it's about them as a person.
Yeah, because it was never about how I made them look, it was about how I made them feel. And I think being able to inject confidence in people was really what my talent was and my strongest skill set. The clothes are just the after part of that, right? But, you know, you think of someone like Zendaya and Céline Dion and people who became trendsetters and kind of just transcended fashion, it's because of the confidence. And both of those women have complimented me and saying I had such a huge role in helping them build confidence or reestablish it. So when I thought of writing a book, instead of writing a memoir, or, you know, I never really believed in books of, you know, experts telling people what they should wear and what they shouldn't wear, because I always thought that it's a woman's prerogative to wear whatever she wants. Finding the ultimate confidence helps power that decision. And that's what I wanted to be about. I wanted it to be something tangible that people can keep in their bag and read and reread and do the exercises and just build the ultimate, because I think the ultimate confidence for me is when you get to say, fuck you, I don't care. Fuck you, I don't care what you think about me. I don't care about what you think about what I'm wearing. I'm doing this because it brings me joy, it brings me pleasure, and it makes me, and it gives me this sort of, you know, costume that I can walk through the world and deal with all of the things and challenges that we face every day just walking out of our front doors.
I definitely took from this book that you've always pushed yourself to challenge the blueprint of how things are and how things should be, and, you know, that definition of what a stylist is. And I'm interested about the decision to kind of put this philosophy to the world in the form of a book, because it definitely challenges kind of what a style book should be. Why was a book the right way to do this in such kind of digital media focused age?
Well, it's not a style book. It's a self-help book, really. And I just used the title. I wanted to think of a title that was slick enough where it would almost be like putting the medicine in the ice cream, right? You think you're gonna get this this book about, you know, all, you know, these red carpets and how I came up with the dress and how you should pick a dress, and it's not that at all. You know, it's more. There are anecdotes from, you know, my time with all these beautiful, incredible women, but the ultimate message of the book is how to become your own style icon. You know, whether you're a stay-at-home mom or you're a teacher or whatever you are, you should be able to view yourself as your own icon. And I think when you hit that point and you have become your own icon, then other people will start to see you the same way.
Were there any challenges in writing a book? It's a different medium for you. Did you enjoy it?
I did enjoy it. I really did enjoy it. It was tough, you know. It was tough, you know, but I have some incredible friends that are writers. I started the process with a writer, but I just didn't think that my voice was coming off as authentic as I needed it to be. And this book was also therapeutic for me, and it was healing for me after the retirement. And I needed it to be me. I needed that thing, one, that I can be in control of, and two, I can be creative with. So I started out with a writer, and then, you know, really early in the process, I was like, you know what? I just really think I could do it myself, and I think that I would be doing the reader and my fans and people who supported me a disservice not to do it myself. So yeah, it really helped me through a really dark period of my life.
You mentioned your retirement there, and a big lesson in the book is this idea of finding balance and doing what's right for you. I mean, a key thing that I really loved in this book is don't be the $75 girl in this kind of hustle and grind. But how, for kind of younger people coming up in this industry, what would your advice be to kind of find that balance of knowing your worth, knowing what to ask for, but also when there's such fierce competition, knowing also when to make space for yourself? Definitely
knowing your worth and figuring that out. And that story about the $75 girl is, what happened was she had done so many favors for people and had been so excited just to have the opportunity that she lost value in herself. And when she told me that, you know, she said, I stopped seeing her. And I write about this in the book, of course. I stopped seeing her all the time. I'm like, what happened? She was like, well, I had to move back home with my parents. She was like, I became the $75 girl. She was like, I did so many things for $75 that, you know, when people would try to hire me, they would say, oh, well, you did it for that person for $75. And so that stuck with me. And so every time I did something, every time I, you know, hit a new plateau, I'm not a plateau, I hit a new step in my career, and I felt like I did something, I had learned something new, I raised the price, you know, because I felt like I started to add more value to other people's situations, so I wanted to be paid accordingly for that. And it was a really sad story, but it was also one that I kept and I share with people who I mentor. I'm like, don't ever become the $75 girl. Because I mean, there's definitely a balance to find, right, of knowing your worth, but also learning. Yeah. It's a process. You have to learning. I mean, you know, there's no real green book value to what blue book value, I should say, to what rates and stuff would be. There, I mean, there's rates across the board, and people, you know, you kind of know, but you know, you should be able to base your rates on the amount of value you think that you bring to something, right? And it's harder now, you know, because I think the industry is so saturated and there's so many people doing it, and there's so many people that are vying for just to have an opportunity, which they don't know they're becoming the $75 girl. You know what I mean? So it's tricky. It's tricky. It's a slippery slope for sure. I mean, thinking about the industry, which can be a very fickle one, a very surface level industry. Yeah. How do you, I mean, you talk about this a bit in the book, but how do you maintain your confidence, and how do you deal with that kind of aspect of the industry, especially now you've become a more public front-facing figure, which is something you detail in the book? Well, I think one of the things I keep in the back of my mind is something is for me, right? And there's no one or nothing that can take that away from you. And I think, and then you also have to have the courage to say that when something isn't for you. Like, I've been so excited about certain jobs and things, and then so devastated that I didn't get them. But then I have to remind myself that that wasn't for me. And as soon as you start to kind of take part in that philosophy, you'll see the things that weren't for you will only move out the way to allow the things that were for you to come into your life. And I think when you adapt that philosophy and that school of thought, then everything is, you know, just perfect and lovely and wonderful. And those things that you end up with are the things that will make you happy and fulfilled. We all today, we chose what we're wearing. It wasn't an accident. You know, you chose what you're wearing because it gave you a sense of confidence, or you knew that it would when you put it on. And I think being really informed and aware of those decisions and repeating that process is a way to maintain the confidence and also re-inject the confidence when you need it.
Do you ever fear rejection? I mean, when I was reading some of these parts where, you know, you're offering Céline Dion a completely different kind of look to what she's previously explored in her closet. There's definitely, you're not afraid, it seems, of taking risks. But do you ever have that fear of rejection, of someone saying no, of pushing back? How do you deal with that?
No, I think that for everything I've done, it's always been a collaboration. And I also write about in the book knowing the exact moment to push and to pull back, because the dance tells me no all the time, you know. But also, if I'm really passionate about it, the way our relationship works is that she'll try it.
What's next outside of your comfort zone? What's coming up in the future for Law Roach?
Well, I just acquired a business, an existing business that was called School of Style, and what that business did was had a certification course that helped people learn the art and the skill of being a fashion stylist. I acquired the business and we really made it collegiate level studies, mainly based on the infrastructure that I built for my company, and the hopes that it will, you know, decrease the gap of someone wanting this dream and actually realizing it. So I'm really proud about that. And you know, my thing is, even with the book, I wanted to be in service of people in a different way. You know, I've always been a champion of, you know, younger stylists, independent designers, and I think School of Style will give me the opportunity to be a service of them in that way.
Well, congratulations on the book.
Thank
and can't
you.
wait to see everything that happens next. Thank you.
People are clapping for me. Thank you.